The book of Proverbs, verse 12. Apply your heart to instruction and your ears to words of knowledge. Okay, so hi everybody, this is Christian Connoisseur. So, for today's video, I wanted to talk about the new movie that I watched. It's called Thunderbolts. I'll probably just keep the tradition of just playing like a game or something while I talk. I have a few other things that I was also I might also talk about a couple other ideas, and then also going to try to get into this video too. I also can talk about some of this stuff afterwards a little bit more. But here, I'll just kind of get it out of the way first. So, I've been trying to read some more books. I mean, books are cool, right? Like, you got the Bible, right, which is the best book. I've been looking at different franchises, maybe fictional or fantasy, or it could even be like literally like biological or biography too. But one that I found was like, I think that the prequels to The Witcher is like from the original author. So like, I mean, I think I picked up the prequel book. I read through the introduction of it to the story. I mean, I was just kind of looking to some new books to read. I have a couple independent authors I kind of found too. So I could talk a little bit more about some books that I've read, or maybe I'm interested in. I know there's an author called, I think his name's called Brandon Sanderson, and supposedly he has some pretty good books. And then there's a whole bunch, there's like, hundreds of different authors and titles out there. So I might make a video on on one of these types of things, if people are interested in them. And I could do some on some different manga or some anime too. I think I was talking about that at one point. But we'll see what happens, right? So, I also watched the movie Sinners. I could make a video on that one. I don't know for sure how much I'm going to do or not do of all of this stuff, but we'll see what happens, right? Okay, so I'm gonna try to put a Christian perspective on the movie Thunderbolts. So, first of all, I'll guess, because a lot of my videos, I mean, they're kind of a review. Also, I call them like thoughts on, so it's not like super serious or anything either. But I'll just start out by saying I did really like that movie. Truth be told, I thought Thunderbolts was a pretty good movie. So there's that. And I understand that there's a lot of criticism towards the franchise. There's a lot of criticism towards Marvel right now, and people are very angry. But I also will argue that I personally thought that this movie was pretty good. So I feel like sometimes you have to give credit where credit is due. I think I'm just going to lose this stupid card. So it's supposed to, I'm going to try to keep it somewhat spoilers light, but I'm going to be real, there's going to be spoilers to it at one point or another. But at the same time, I'll try not to just blatantly spoiler, especially early on. But some of the basic premise of this movie was, from the past, like maybe the past year, past 2 years, there has been a whole bunch of. Yeah, let's go to the next game. 5-color brawl, standard brawl is kind of ridiculous. I'll just suck my loss now, right? But basically, it's like you take, like, there's a whole bunch of these movies and like they had characters in them, and like the kind of like the series sort of came to an end, but these characters ended up kind of like moving on. All of them kind of got put into one movie, like Black Widow. Then you had like from Ant-Man. You had some from it was like from Hawkeye or from Captain America. You had a whole bunch of characters, and they got kind of like, you know, put into a movie together. My personal opinion, they were actually some of like, these were pretty much like the best characters from a lot of the old Marvel anyways, so this is like definitely a good investment. And like I would say overall I did like at least the vast majority of those characters. This might have been a terrible hand I just took. So yeah, the basic premise is it's kind of like a bunch of anti-heroes, and the anti-heroes get together, and it's kind of like supposed to be like the new Marvels or something, or the new Avengers, but also they're a little bit anti-heroes. It kind of, so I'll be honest, like they do feel a little bit mismatched sometimes. But I mean, overall, I did like. So like, okay, so it did have a lot of characters that were. It did have a lot of characters that were they kind of synergized a little bit together. They also really felt like they clashed together a lot, and they were a little bit of like kind of like misfit characters at times too. But I still thought that they worked out pretty well. Oh, freaking anti-graveyard. So, and then there's that woman from Black Widow. I think she's kind of the main character. Then you have her dad, and you have like the new version of Captain America. Then you have Bucky. Then you have I think her name's Ghost. I'm trying to think if there's any other major characters, but. It felt like they kind of liked each other a little bit, but some of their powers and their abilities, it was like a little bit kind of weird together that they were mixed together, but I still felt pretty happy about it. But okay, so and like some of the basic plot was. It's not good, by the way. It's not like a super original story, but it's like, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. So basically, you have like the leader of their government, or like their CIA. She basically. She's basically she's corrupt. And what happens because of this is she's doing a lot of shady business behind the scenes, and she's kind of like, and the story has a lot of like the idea of, you know, like, there's a good Christian perspective I'll try to get into it soon enough, but she's basically like quote unquote playing God, and she's doing all of this for her own personal power and gain too. And she's working at like some kind of like shadow operator behind the scenes, and she's messing around with different heroes. And is this thing a trample? There's no point in blocking it. yuck. Okay, and like basically, it's Ward Pace 7 Life. Oh my gosh. But basically, she's messing around with things that she should not objectively be messing around with, and in exchange is she messed around with this special powers, or she was experimenting on different humans, trying to see if she's basically trying to build her own new superhero who would be submissive, who would submit underneath her, so she could have the control over like the government or whatever. But okay, so obviously there's a level of spoilers to this, but basically she creates this human, and like the anti-heroes, when they're getting together, is they find themselves kind of at each other's throats, because a lot of these characters, they don't like each other originally, but it takes some time for them to warm up, which feels a little bit more realistic. That's some of the reasons I think I like this movie, because it did have some realistic aspects to it. And like they're at each other's throats. There's this guy, he apparently has like some kind of amnesia. At the same time, it's like so it's like he doesn't know why he's there. Apparently, like this lady is gonna like just completely try to kill everybody on the team, because she's trying to. Oh, she gets caught by the government, and they're like gonna audit her fully or something. And what happens is, I just lost this game. I'm just not doing good in the game. Sometimes I just get crap games, right? But basically, she has a whole bunch of evidence, and she's just and then these heroes that she's been hiring, kind of like behind the books. She's getting in trouble, so she's like, let's just kill them all, right? So yeah, I'll play one of my favorite decks. It's pretty good too. You kind of need the commander, but I still really like it. It's called Helga. But this lady, she tries to just incinerate them to death, and basically the heroes have to work together with this new guy. They don't really know him very well. They kind of think he's I'm not sure. Is this the right deck? Okay, it is. But they basically, because they're superheroes, right? They're gonna have the hero always gets out at the very last second, so they escape, and then they find out that she's trying to burn them. So, and then they show you a lot about these people kind of behind the scenes. So I can't remember all the characters' names. I should have just went through the very beginning and shown them all. But I'll just mention who they are. If I tell you who they are, it's like way easier to know who they are anyways. You got like the new Captain America. He's basically referenced as he's a huge dick. He's a huge dick, right? So he swears, he's violent, he murdered somebody. He's kind of just like a really bad version of a Captain America. I think this is probably a bad idea, playing my commander, to be honest. Yeah, we'll find out. But basically, this guy, apparently he has like a wife with a kid at home, and him and his wife had some big falling out. I can't remember all the exact little itty-bitty details, but basically, it didn't really work out too well. And I think they split up, or she was really angry with him. Oh, that was a good pro play. And that's one of the reasons that he's trying to regain his old status name of being Captain America. So And like sometimes like I do feel pity for some people too, right? Like I can also understand from like this guy's point of view. I mean, again, like he is kind of a dick, right? But I do feel as if you can relate to this guy. Because again, like he was trying to become Captain America. He has some severe like repressive anger issues, and he loses his cool. So he ends up losing his position of Captain America, but he's trying to like, no, a lot of the story, again, there's a lot of redemption to it. But also, and like it shows a lot of the other characters too, right? Like you got the main character, you know, Black Widow's sister, and there's a lot of struggles, so they end up kind of getting together. And this guy who they know or they meet, eventually he gets kind of turned into the government, and basically what happens is, again, like, you know, because the CIA lady, she's basically trying to play God, so she's trying to build her own superhero. So what happens is it blows up in her face. And apparently, she thought all of her past experience were all failures, but it turns out that they ended up being a success. So, what happened ultimately is that this guy, he has like, okay, now this is one of these moments where I kind of feel like in this movie he's basically like super OP. He's kind of like, he's referenced as like a quote unquote god. He's basically propped up to be so powerful. Like he's more powerful than like all of the superheroes combined together in the past. He's like super OP. Like they can't even hurt him. He's like Superman borderline strong. He's like he can't even, like, he doesn't even flinch. He can do crazy levels of stuff. And they have to fight him basically, and they just lose. So but he also has this shadow power where he can like suck people's like souls into some like shadow realm. Now they basically give him a way to basically be able to die or be able to lose in the battle, but it's kind of propped up at being like extremely high powered. But they end up defeating him, right? Or he kind of like, they help him defeat himself. But at the end of the day, I still feel like it was pretty cool. So again, like it had a bunch of heroes. You know, they all work together at the end of the day. But okay, so what are some different Christian messages? So one of them was the idea, I guess, you know, playing God, and that, like, you know, this shadow guy, he basically went into a fit of rage, and he decided he's just not gonna obey her. She wants to force him to submission, And he's like, why should a god have to, like, obey you or something? And then he decides he's just going to threaten her. He attacks her. He was going to leave. But what happens then is basically she has a fail-safe switch. She thinks she has him shut down. He ends up being able to get out of it. He goes out into the city and he just wreaks mass havoc in exchange. But then, like, the new Avengers, they come in and they step in. They basically stop her. But she is trying to play God, which is obviously very dangerous. And then I feel like another aspect is, again, like there is some stories of redemption where Bucky basically is going to take them in, and when he takes them in, he gives them a chance for redemption. He finds out that this, like, supervillains or the superhero is going to, like, wreak havoc on the city. So he basically he frees the new Avengers, right? Which, I mean, it is a cool thing in and of itself. I'll have nothing in my graveyard. But he basically lets them. He kind of like lets them off the hook in a sense. He gives them a chance to find some kind of redemption, which I feel like is pretty commendable. And they all kind of work together. And, like, this lady, I can't remember her name. I'll look it up, but I have to stop the video probably. But basically, it's a chance for some kind of redemption. Oh, well, I tried. Honestly, they're gonna beat me either way, right? They got the unblockable, or they got crazy nuts. There's no way I can get out of the situation, right? It's fine though. But so redemption's another aspect of the story. And it does talk about, like, and there's also personal redemption for the villain, which is something I can kind of respect. Or it's like, again, there's like the main, okay, so there's a couple different ways to look at the villain. The villain could be that, like, that boss lady, the CIA, like, dark shadow woman, and they're trying to go after her. She could be viewed as, like, the main villain. Also, the hero that they were creating, he could kind of be viewed as the villain. There's a lot of different characters in the world that could be viewed as kind of evil or the villain, but they do save that hero in the very end too. They kind of save him from himself, so there is some, like, like Christ-like moments to it. And, like, the blonde lady, the blonde-haired lady, she's been struggling with her own sense of redemption and grappling with sense of purpose, and how does she cope with, basically all the sins she's committed in the past. And she kind of finds some kind of a pathway to redemption, becoming a hero. And there was a lot of cool moments in it. So I feel like overall, there was a lot of cool like redemption and virtue moments. Again, I'm trying to be more positive rather than just excessively negative. I mean, I know again, so if I try to be somewhat objective, I mean, I know I can be very negative and critical, but again, like some of the flaws of the story, with some of it, I felt like it suffered a little bit. I feel like from the idea of like predictability, it was kind of like super predictable. Most of the story, it's like, and they did have a couple moments here and there where I was like, okay, so again, obviously spoilers, right? It's called the New Avengers. So I don't know, to be honest, if this actually is supposed to be like the new Avengers team. Definitely, I like these characters, so I wouldn't be upset. But at the very end, there was like a moment where, like, you know, they flipped the script on people, and they kind of they did a moment I didn't expect. And there were some stuff in this where I didn't really anticipate it happening. So there was some moments that were kind of cool, right? But it did suffer from a lot of, like, I could swear that I knew what was going to happen, even if I didn't 100% actually know. And like, I kind of just, okay, it's like one of those moments where, like, I kind of just presumed the heroes were gonna win, the villains were gonna lose, and they had a super villain that was like unstoppable, but they still beat him anyways. There's a lot of moments where it's like, yeah, I mean, so that's like some criticism, and also him, the main villain, being like basically like invincible. I felt like I wasn't overly happy about it. I know they use an alternative way to defeat him, but I wasn't like super happy about it. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do have criticisms for it, but I mean, overall though, it was a pretty good movie. And I think going in, I kind of presumed it was going to be like a decent movie. I knew it has kind of the Marvel stain to it, but I thought it was going to be pretty good. And it ended up being a pretty decent movie. Like, it's definitely was. I think it was definitely worth the money to watch it, and it was definitely a good experience. And it had some good, heartfelt moments. And there was moments where I thought to myself, you know, like, I could really feel for some of these characters. Maybe because that's the way they were propped up originally from the older movies, but, you know what I mean? Like, it had some, like, almost like therapeutic moments to it. And, like, you know, you felt kind of crap for some of the characters. Like, you felt kind of like crap for, like, the main villain. Like, I didn't feel any empathy for, like, you know, like that lady, but I did feel pretty bad for that guy. And I think that's cool for a movie to make me kind of feel something. Because, like, a lot of times I don't feel much at the same time for a lot of characters, but, like, there's a couple moments where, like, I thought about my own past, and they also they showed some. So this villain, you know, he could see, like, people's past or some moments in their memories. I think if he touches them or he's kind of like nearby them. So, oh, this is a Zergo deck again. Okay. I'm not paying attention when I'm playing. I'm gonna lose again here. Okay. How much money do I have? But yeah, Zergo's too good. But it did make me feel a lot of empathy. Which, I mean, I think it's good when movies make you feel things. I mean, it's important, right? Because like a lot of the new stuff they've been making, and it kind of it's like soulless. Oh, I'm dying to that stupid red white enchantment. Oh my gosh, I'm probably gonna lose, to be honest. Oh my gosh, I die right now. Okay, but and like and the main villain, he felt like kind of flat and dry, to be honest. And now I feel like also at the same time he wasn't propped up to be like, he's just kind of like a loser, and he was played the role as kind of being a loser. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything like that bad about it. Maybe it's like I kind of like wish that he was made depicted as someone like, significantly greater or something, or at least he had more charisma to him. But it also does show that like meek and humble characters and heroes can do a lot. They can be very powerful, right? So, even someone insignificant can become someone potentially very powerful. But yeah, I mean, the thing on some of the different Christian perspectives, also the idea of arrogance. I know I mentioned this before. Like, it was talking about how, like, with Captain America and Steve Rogers, he was given like the super serum, but he was also like a combat veteran. He was trained. He was prepared to handle it. He was like he was an exceptional human being, and he ended up becoming a superhero. But this other guy, I think they call him like John Doe. He was just kind of like he's kind of like some I think he was using drugs, and he was kind of like just falling apart in life. He's just kind of a nobody, and he was given this like some kind of a sample of this stuff, but it ended up being like because he's just kind of like some guy, right? But when he has this powers, and like he ended up also getting manipulated a little bit, by that lady at the same time, which I'm sure doesn't like really help. Also, because again, like he doesn't really know how to use his powers, and he doesn't understand himself very well, which is not like unrealistic. Because like, how would a person know how to handle using something like this? I don't think most people would be capable of it. I mean, I don't know if I'd be capable of it if I had some kind of powers either. I think a lot of that stuff is very it's like, again, like he doesn't know what he's doing, but also that CIA agent lady, she should not have been messing around with that stuff either, right? Because I don't think she understood what she was fully doing either. So, it has its pros and it has its cons, but it did blow up in her face massively. But I guess that's just sometimes the way things are. Yeah, this first strike. But yeah, I feel like overall, I was pretty happy with Thunderbolts. I think it's called, what's it called? The New Avengers. And honestly, I feel like I'd be fine if they made another one of these movies at the same time. Like, I mean, I'd be fine with it. Um, and if it ended up being like a new series where they made more movies like that, I'd be completely okay with it, to be honest. But we'll also find out, right? Like, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna make. I don't know if they'll make more movies of this franchise. I mean, I feel like it depends on how much money this movie makes. I definitely see this as being like a really good, fresh new start for Marvel. I guess I can just replay it again. That's like my one trick, right? Oof. 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 Oh, the Get Rug monster is too good. First strike death touch is honestly kind of nuts. But I would be very happy if they made more movies like this. Oh my gosh, this is so stupid. What's that one? Okay, this is so dumb. But and like I'd be pretty happy, and I feel like they have the ability to make. They have the ability to make some good movies again. I know it feels like forever since they've really like went out of their way to like really care about their audience and make good stuff, but I'm not gonna say it's impossible either. Oh, I should have sacrificed my treasure. But yeah, so I know they are making more movies. I think one of the big problems, though, at the same time, is I feel like Marvel's kind of lost a little bit of its charm, and like that is a bit of a problem. Because I do personally think that's one of the big reasons people liked them in the first place. It's like, oh, here we go. We're getting in there. This is a little bit nuts, to be honest. This is why I live for playing this kind of game. They might be scooping here. Oh, the double ETB triggers. They might scoop here, to be honest. Oh my gosh. This is the nuts. Okay, just oh my gosh. Okay. We'll again. I don't want to say I hate Marvel. I know they have a lot of problems. Like, we'll be real, right? All right. I don't know. They could get out of this. They could have board wipe or something too, but okay. I got to win. Like, before I end this video. Okay, good. I know that they're making more movies. I honestly, I wish them well. Let's just say this. Objectively, they're kind of a failure right now. Oh yeah, I still got my first one today. I've been saving my coins up for Final Fantasy, so I got a nice pool though. I got 26,000 coins. I'll easily be able to do tons of drafts. Plus, I already have the gems I can use too. But yeah, I know they're having a Fantastic Four movie. The movie, I think, actually looks pretty good. I don't like the way the Thing looks, but overall, I think the movie actually looks like it's pretty good. At least it could be, right? It could be, right? I'm not sure I'm fine with all the choices they made, but it could turn out well. So we'll believe the best in it. And I know that at some point they're making an actual Avengers movie. I love the Avengers, so hopefully it comes out and it works out well, right? And like there are some other movies coming out. I know there's like a Superman movie that I want to watch. I think that movie looks incredibly good. And oh yeah, so I'll also talk about some other stuff here while I'm done with the video, right? So I bought Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I mean, I've just been kind of busy. I've been socializing more. Honestly, again, I know this is kind of cringe to talk about, but I've been trying to like, try my hand at dating or talking to women more too, and socializing and putting myself out there more. And it's hard to just sit at home and play video games all day and be like social. I work a job and trying to make more money. All this stuff, right? And just playing video games all day. It's hard to play video games and be like a man. Now you can do a little bit, but just sometimes I know I'm kind of playing this game, right? But I feel like this is a little bit different scenario. This is a card game. This is based off of the card game I play. So it's a little bit different, but it's also a super casual game. Yeah, there's like the Superman movie. I think Mission Impossible, I think that already came out. Or it came out like yesterday or coming out today. I think that movie is probably going to be good. Tom Cruise still does a good job. I mean, whatever criticisms you have, he still makes good movies. The Jurassic World movie, I feel like, to be honest, it's probably like a solid movie. Maybe like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's a good, like, put your butt in the popcorn. Like, eat popcorn, drink a soda, put your butt in the seat. It's still probably a good movie. I mean, some of these movies are like probably okay, but it's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Superman, I'm definitely hyped up for that one. There might be a couple other movies coming out. I can't quite remember. The movie Sinners, I thought was an incredibly good movie. Really, really dark, but also really good at the same time. So, and there was some good Christian themes in that. I might make a video on it. I just didn't get around to it. Oh yeah, then I was talking about, like, I think earlier at the beginning of the video, like I was trying to like read some more books. I think they're a good thing to invest into. Oh, this battery's this phone up 61%. It should be fine. Also, there's a Final Fantasy trading card, Final Fantasy Magic: The Gathering set coming up. So I'm gonna play in the pre-release of it. No, I'll play a bunch on Arena probably too. Like, I mean, I do like some of the mainstream like Final Fantasies. More like the remakes of like the big hot shot games. I'm not like a hardcore player, but I've enjoyed watching videos and playing some of the games. I like some of the characters, so I'm probably gonna get some of the cards in the real world. I'll probably mess around with the cards I find on here too. We'll see what they get, right? Yeah, like also looking for the books. I think it's also a great way to potentially socially connect, and also it's also a great way to, like, gain more intelligence. And sometimes it's nice to not always be on a screen all the time either. So I don't really know what I want to read entirely. Sometimes I just kind of browse the bookshelves, or like it gives me an excuse to kind of like. I feel like I could be a little more social too. I can go to like a local bookstore or some other place, or I can also talk about this stuff with other people. So, but I'm not really committed exactly what I want to fully read. I know I can also listen to them as audiobooks, which is fine too. But yeah, I guess let me know what your thoughts are, or what do you want me to talk about any of this kind of stuff? And do you like the style of me playing this game while I talk? I feel like it keeps my brain a little bit like more functioning. Like I just talk into the camera, that's great. But if I'm playing the game, it forces my brain to think a little bit more, or have to be a little more sharp. Maybe I have like a little bit of like ADHD or something. I mean, pretty much everybody does these days anyways. But yeah, so I mean I bought the Witcher prequel book. Apparently I think there's like seven of them. So we'll see what it's like, right? I mean, I played the third game. I like Thronebreaker. I kind of know the lore and the story. It's a big series. I don't remember everything about it, but it was definitely pretty solid. I mean, they had the TV show. I figured I'd just give the books a chance, right? I mean, and to be honest, they might be awful, but they might be great too. Okay, so yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, and what did you think about Thunderbolts if you watched it, and like I feel like maybe this is a little bit of the new direction of the channel, where I make like these I call them quote unquote like little reviews or something. I mean, I'm kind of like a little bit more like a normie casual when it comes to this kind of stuff. I know I don't make them like immediately on release like every time. Oh, apparently Oblivion's available on the PlayStation 5. So the remaster. I did not know that. Apparently it's out there. So I'm probably gonna at some point have to buy it, because like Oblivion's like my favorite, one of my favorite fantasy games. Now I beat the original I think 3 separate times. Now I made a video on it. I mean I beat the game so many times, right? It's like, but I might have to go back out and try it again. So, because I love Oblivion, right? I've beaten Skyrim. I don't know, like heaven knows like how many times I've played that game or beaten it. I'm so glad that another one of their old games has finally been, and I know they're making like the Sky Oblivion, but this one's more from the official people, so it has the pros and the cons, right? So, yeah. What do you recommend I make content on, or what do you like, or what do you not like? I do want to put Christian spin on my stuff still, right? Because I think Christianity is important. I mean, I don't want to like force heavy religion into everything that I do and say, but I do think it's important that I go out of my way to talk about Christianity. So we'll see what comes. We'll see what happens, right? But yeah, thanks for watching it. I just want to say I'm humbled that you watched my video. I thank you. I appreciate that you watched or took whatever time out of your day. Or if you got this far, I don't know how many minutes is this? 48 minutes. No, thank you, right? Just thank you, and I appreciate it. Oh yeah, like what's a good like positive like affirmation? Like, this, we could be humble, right? But humble, but have confidence. This video is going to be successful. It's going to work out. If it's within God's will, it's going to be successful. People who watch this we're going to learn something, and good things are going to happen, right? Regardless of what happens, it's still going to be successful. All right, thanks for watching. God is good.